or suffer from nightmares about zombies, you hide behind the sofa. Now.
Oh, hello. Welcome to Pittsburgh. This is the massive Three Rivers Stadium, home of the world-famous baseball team, the Pittsburgh Pirates. But it's also the home of the two men who took zombies out of the graveyard and put them back where they really belong, on the big screen. Strike three! Get ready to meet the kings of modern horror, Tom Savini and George A. Romero. This is Evans City Cemetery, located about 30 miles outside of Pittsburgh. And it was here in 1968 that the opening scenes of a low-budget black and white horror film were shot, a movie that has since become a modern classic and has had an influence on every major horror film made since then. All the more remarkable, then, that the film was the first feature to be produced by a small local advertising group. The film was The Night of the Living Dead, and the director, cinematographer, editor and co-author was George A. Romero.
Interrupt to bring this to you. This is the latest disclosure in a report from National Civil Defense Headquarters in Washington. It has been established that persons who have recently died have been returning to life and committing acts of murder. A widespread investigation of reports from funeral homes, morgues, and hospitals has concluded that the unburied dead are coming back to life and seeking human victims. It's hard for us here to believe what we're reporting to you, but it does seem to be a fact.
Night of the Living Dead has all the ingredients of a corny B movie, but it's now generally regarded as the most groundbreaking horror film ever. For the first time, the public were treated to graphically realistic scenes such as this.
There was no MPAA at that point. There was no ratings board at that point. So there was no panel of experts that were issuing dictates or reviewing films and saying, well, you can leave this in, but you have to take that out. But there was this unwritten law which came from, over the course of years, you had to sort of stand back and be polite and just show the shadow and not show the knife entering flesh. And I just didn't see, I didn't know why. And, I guess from having been weaned on EC comic books and things like that, I just said, well, why can't we do that? And why hasn't anyone done it? I didn't think so much that we were breaking down barriers as probably my first thought was, well, why didn't anyone ever do it this way?
The film was financed and produced by Image 10, a small Pittsburgh company that George founded with several friends. Their only previous experience had been local television commercials like this one.
For a natural man, and I take my pleasure, natural as I can, where there ain't no pleasure like a natural brew, tall and cold, and Duke is a natural beer for the natural man.
George and I were having lunch at Sam Rini's bar, a bar similar to this diner, and which is out of business now. And we were kind of discouraged about doing commercials and the fickleness of the clients. And I said, what if we got 10 of us together, just, you know, 10 friends and the people that we work with every day, and everybody kicked in $600, and we'd have $6,000. Could we do any kind of black and white movie on that? Now, we should be able to do something, especially if we made a horror movie, we should be able to do something better than these creatures in rubber masks or giant spiders or whatever. So George got all excited and he said, we're gonna make a movie. Bam! He hit the tabletop and all the bottles and the ashtrays jumped and all the patrons stared at us, and that was it. We were gonna make a movie. We did. We put together $6,000 and got started.
The film examines the plight of a group of people who have taken refuge in a farmhouse as the bizarre phenomenon of the living dead begins. Shot in grainy black and white and with extensive use of handheld camera, it has a documentary feel to it that adds to the terror, with many critics interpreting its style and bleak tone as a critique of late 1960s America.
As far as the tone of the piece, I think it just came from the anger of the times. It was 1968, and nobody was in a very gleeful mood about the way the world was going, and so it just seemed appropriate to put those themes into the film as well.
The most potent image in the film is Romero's realistic, slow-moving zombies.
Zombies were all friends of ours and people from, we had a film company, myself and some of the other guys that were involved had a film company. We were doing commercials and industrial films here in town. And there were a lot of people from the ad game that all wanted to come out and be zombies, and a lot of them did. And they were all just friends of ours, and some people from around Evans City who just thought it was a goof and came out to get caked with makeup and lumber around.
I played Helen Cooper, the lady in the basement, and also a ghoul, one of the ghouls who eats the insect on the tree. We were short of ghouls that day.
I was Harry Cooper, the one who said it was a lot safer in the basement because there were a million weak spots up here on the first floor.
And he was right.
As it turned out, I was right, yes.
Look, you two can do whatever you like. I'm going back down to the cellar, and you better decide, because I'm going to board up that door, and I'm not going to unlock it again no matter what happens.
You box yourself in the cellar and those things get in the house, you've had it. At least up here you have a fighting chance.
Yeah, it looks like about 8 or 10 out there now.
It's more than there were. There are a lot out back, too.
Night of the Living Dead premiered here in Pittsburgh on October the 2nd, 1968. And from day one, it was met with outrage and controversy. Perhaps the least flattering review appeared in Variety magazine, which described the film as an unrelieved orgy of sadism and amateurism of the first order. Despite, or perhaps even because of such reviews, the movie was a massive hit on the drive-in circuit, its audience growing steadily as its reputation for unmitigating horror spread by word of mouth.